friends, it is time for the next part of our Bible story about Moses. Last week, if you watched the video, we learned about Moses being a little baby. He was a very special baby, but his mom couldn't keep him because the king wanted to find all the babies and take them. So Moses' mom put him into a basket and floated him away on the river. But soon a princess found him. Do you remember? The princess of the kingdom took Moses into the castle, and there he lived and grew up as a little boy. Even though it was a little scary for Moses' mom to put Moses in a basket and send him away, she knew that God had a plan for Moses, and she knew that God was going to take care of him no matter what. And God did take care of Moses. Moses grew up into a grown-up adult man, and he lived in the palace, and he became one of the princes of the palace because his new mom had been the princess. But even though Moses grew up in the palace of the king of Egypt, he knew that he was an Israelite. Do you remember that word, Israelite? The Israelites are all the people that were from Joseph's family that grew and grew and grew. And they were all the people that are God's chosen people. He loves them and wants to take care of them. God takes care of the Israelites, but right now the Israelites are slaves in the kingdom. That means they have to do really hard work for the king, even when they're tired. Even when they don't have food, they still have to work, and it is very sad for them. But God still has a plan, and he's taking care of the Israelites. So here's the next part of our story. Even though Moses grew up in the palace of the king, he knew that he was really an Israelite, one of God's special people. He lived in the palace, and even the Israelite slaves had to work for him because nobody else knew that he was an Israelite. One day, though, he saw one of his own soldiers hurting an Israelite. This made Moses very sad. He pushed the soldier out of the way and hurt him. Uh-oh, this was a mistake. Moses' job was not to try and help slaves and take care of them. This made the king very mad. The king said, "Moses, the slaves are here to take care of you and serve you, and if they're not doing their job right, it's okay for soldiers to be mean to them." But Moses did not think that was a good idea. He loved the Israelites even though they were his slaves. And God knew how badly the king treated his slaves. He didn't like it one bit, and he was ready to do something about it. Moses was afraid of the king and ran away. He had to get a new job far away from the palace so that the king wouldn't be mad at him. Moses got a new job taking care of sheep. One day, while he was taking care of some sheep out in the desert, he saw a bush. The bush was on fire, but it wasn't burning up. Moses went closer to see. "Moses, Moses," God called from the bush. Moses could not believe God was speaking to him. "Take off your shoes, Moses, for you are standing on holy ground." Do you know that word holy? It means that it's special to God, and it is very powerful, like God's power is there. "It is I, your God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. I know that the king treats my people badly. Tell them that I will save them. Tell them that I sent you. And go to the king and say, 'Let my people go.'" God wanted Moses to go back to Egypt? Didn't God know that Moses had run away from the king? Didn't God know that he was scared? God did know all these things, but he had big plans for Moses. So Moses obeyed God That was a good choice. And he and his friend Aaron went to see the king together. Now here's the picture of the bush. It's on fire, but it's not burning up. Isn't that crazy? God was in the fire. He likes to come and visit people in very special ways, doesn't he? Doesn't God always love to show his power to do something like a miracle or something amazing? God is so cool like that. And Moses looks a little bit afraid, doesn't he? I think Moses is a little bit scared because when he left the kingdom, people were not liking him and the king was not happy with him. Do you think the king is going to be happy to see Moses again if he goes back? I hope God's going to protect and take care of him. We'll find out what happens next to Moses and God's plan when you come back for the next story. All right, friends, have a great weekend. I'll see you soon.